What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about training and actually finding the right virtual assistants or VAs in your wholesaling real estate operation. I'm super pumped up for this one, and truthfully, if you're going to pay $1,000, $2,000 for a virtual assistant course, or you're going to spend, in my opinion, in wholesaling real estate, thousands and thousands of dollars to invest in a VA to help scale up your operations in wholesaling real estate, it is your duty to go out there and learn the best processes for hiring and training your VAs. Nobody talks about it. Everyone goes out there and says, you need to go get a VA and be like me and be awesome, or join my $10,000 course and I'll teach you about VAs. And they don't really teach about it, or they don't have much experience. And truthfully, the training for your VAs need to be congruent and the same as the ones that you have the goals for. So in my wholesaling operation, my goals are, hey, I want a 7-figure operation. I don't want to say this incorrectly, but I don't want to work too hard. And I want to have an operation where I'm not working that much. We're making great money and it's very easy. It's not really that difficult. And that's what I try to do. I love Vanish Quickly. Just everyone, I get 1 or 2 of these, hopefully every single live. Is this live or pre-recorded? Well, real quick, guys. I mean, it's 1:07 p.m. my time. It can't even, yeah, right there. This angle, 1:06 p.m. It's a live video. Everyone thinks because the quality looks so good or something that this is a recorded video. It's not. But what I'm trying to explain is, in my business, I want the VAs to be doing most of the hard work for me, and I really want to be doing the stuff that makes me the most money, and where I could work 5-10 hours a week in my wholesaling business and really enjoy the stuff I want to do outside of it. I love wholesaling. That's my passion. But being able to not do 40-50 hours a week in wholesaling, have VAs do a lot of the work, first of all, make more money because there's just not enough time for me to do everything. It took me a long lesson to learn. But truthfully, I'm able to do creative financing, subject twos, lease options, able to get into commercial real estate. There's just so much more than wholesaling. But of course, 7 figures wholesaling, that is the bread and butter for my operations. That's where most of my money's made. But truthfully, you want to scale that wholesaling business and you want to do it correctly. I'm not the guy to tell you I'm going to do $10 million this year when it comes to wholesaling real estate. I have this big overhead staff. And when I tell you I'm a 7-figure wholesaler, it's 7 figures in profit. It's not a sexy net thing like that. Like it'd be more if I do the sexy net thing. I just go a sexy revenue thing. I'm not that guy. You know, people are doing $10 million. They brag about. In all honesty, they're probably netting home at like 2 million, and they got a lot of headache. They got like 30, 40 employees. It's just not the life I want to live and not what I want to do. So in this video, I'm not going to be teaching that. I'm going to be teaching exactly how to scale it up to 7 figures where you don't have to be working that much. So this is where you're working 5-10 hours a week max. I mean, that's kind of the way I want to teach how to find and train these VAs. I'm not doing the whole sexy, like you're going to spend $500K a month in like VAs and employees for all this. Like that's not what I do. Okay. I teach you just how to make 6 figures, 7 figures in wholesaling real estate. That's my bread and butter for you guys to teach you. That's what I'm best at showing. So before we get into it, before I show you guys, remember, do me a favor, smash that like button and subscribe. It means a lot to me, guys. Check out freewholesaling.com on the bottom there. That's where a lot of the trainings are. And let's get it going, guys, because another question I want to ask everyone starting out is, do you guys prefer I go live at 7, 8, 5? I want to know. Analytics is showing me that a lot of you guys are more active at 8 than 5. So I decided to try a late night stream for you guys because I feel bad for all my cold calling hustlers out there that are cold calling on the East Coast that can't get on the calls here. So let me know. But let's break it down, guys. Let's get it going, guys. Also, comment below your questions. I try to answer all of them as I can and break it down. So, guys, freewholesaling.com. That's where a lot of the information's at. But of course, I'm about to drop some gems that I haven't really talked about before. So I'm pretty excited. So we're getting some comments. Everyone's telling me 8 p.m. is the best. So that's interesting. That's interesting. So might be biased that all the 8 p.m. people are watching. So go in the comments. Let me know. And let's see. So let's break it down. So when it comes to virtual assistants, if you're brand new in this business and you got some questions, let's break it down. So what is a VA? What is a virtual assistant? If you're new to wholesaling real estate, this might be something new that you've never heard about. If you're brand new, this is really exciting. And I want to tell everyone watching this, hey, if you're brand new into wholesaling real estate, it's really important you know what a virtual assistant is, what a VA is. But this shouldn't be like what you're trying to do. Do not, if you're not making 100K per year in wholesaling, I don't recommend getting a VA. I truthfully believe you need to know all aspects of your business so you're able to scale it up from 100K to a million. The VA is going to be the secret to that and the actual scaling of the operation. And the best way to scale is to hire people that cheaper than what they'll do. So if they'll make $10,000 in revenue, you'll pay them $4,000. It's a good arbitrage ROI for you. And if you don't know how to train these people correctly, they're not going to be utilized well. It's like an army. I'm not an army person. I've never served in the military. I'm not a veteran, but I know from military history and strategy, if you don't have a well-trained army, it's not going to be well. And a well-trained army of 1,000 will destroy a very, very non-trained army of 10,000. And again, there's factors like where you're fighting at and stuff. I mean, we're not talking Revolutionary War because then it comes to who's really fighting. I mean, the British weren't really into that war versus the Americans, but I'm talking in general. A very well-trained team will destroy just an average one. So you got 3 NBA players going against 5 college kids, 5 college basketball players. The 3 NBA players are going to destroy them. Why? They're way better, well-trained. So that's just the way it is. So a virtual assistant is someone who can virtually do the tasks for you. They can do the marketing, the dispositions, cold calling. So one of the first hires I always recommend for VAs is start having someone cold call for you. Start doing a lot of the calling that absolutely sucks in the beginning. And if you're able to make 100K per year in wholesaling, start paying someone to do those 5 hours a day of cold calling for you if you're starting to get some deals, and start focusing on the acquisitions where it's probably a lot more important to do. And that's a big recommendation I can tell you right off the bat is marketing should always be your first hire for a VA. And then it goes to dispositions and then lastly acquisitions. And that's kind of where this training's being centered on more or less. But overall, a virtual assistant's really someone, they're either in the Philippines, India, Mexico. It might be a shocker for you, but a lot of these virtual assistants will work behind a computer 8 hours a day. And in other countries, there's no average wage that is close to the United States. Of course, the United States is one of the richest nations in the world, and it's where a lot of the hubs are being at for the world commerce. And I mean, London's got one too, and they're all over the Hong Kong, but Americans are paid very well for doing tasks that, around the country pay differently. So one example I could tell you is if let's say you lay tile in the United States, you're tile layer, which is not a bad job, pays well. Maybe you got a union. That's cool. Maybe you get paid $25 an hour. That's good. I mean, you're laying stone, you're working with concrete, whatever. You're getting $25 an hour. Let's say you're in India, you're doing that. You're probably getting paid close to $4.50, $7 an hour. There's no unions and the labor laws are different. And there's a lot more people in India, but the payment's different. So in the Philippines, you can have someone be a virtual assistant for as low as I've seen $3, but usually $4 an hour. India, you probably get 5 to 6. And these people are college educated, which doesn't mean a lot in my opinion, college education. I mean, I have a college degree and I think it's literally worthless, but we're not getting that debate. So it's kind of insane the amount of value you get from around the country. There's people that speak multiple languages. They're extremely smart. They got families and they're willing to work for $4 or $5 an hour and they're making a good living there. So virtual assistants are definitely a godsend for my business, and we're helping families. We're hiring. I'm not going to get in this debate of you should hire American only. I'm not getting this debate. Like seriously, guys want to get political. I get messages all the time saying you need to hire only Americans, America. And I'm like, hey, I'm an international company. What are you going to do? I can scream at Apple for hiring people, make iPhones in China. Like international company. So again, most corporations their incentive is to increase value to the shareholder. So again, there's no shares for wholesaling, but a virtual assistant is the best key for an employee. It's 3 times cheaper than the average American employee, and it gives you a lot of leverage. But what can VAs do? And that's truthfully what the most important part is. So if you're new to wholesaling, they can really help the 3 pillars when it comes to just what wholesaling is all about. And this honestly just breaks down to marketing, acquisitions, and disposition. So let's break it down. So with marketing, they can do the cold calling for you. They can do the SMS text blasting for you. They can do virtual drawing for dollars. I don't like getting into virtual drawing for dollars too much because I just think it's a little weird where it's at right now. So I wouldn't be recommending it too much. But they could do that for you. They could do email blasting. SMS and cold calling is the best one. And VAs are, I don't know how to explain it. I don't like to objectify, but they're kind of like water. That's the best example I give to you, like a VA. So a virtual assistant will be water. So what glass are you going to put the VA in? Are you going to put them in a vase? They can mold to that shape. You put them in like an oval, they'll mold to that shape. Put it in a bowl, it'll mold to that shape. What I mean by that, it's kind of a weird one. If you just train a VA to, text and not reply well, that's what they're going to do. If you train them to reply well and work hard, that's what they're going to do. It's really what you're going to do and how you're going to train them. That's going to be the most important part. And a VA, unlike in the United States, their culture is a little differently. So it's 3 times cheaper, but they don't know American culture too well. They can't make jokes usually about sports teams. It's, about 4th of July. A lot of them don't know of a lot of the holidays we have here. So the culture is a lot different, but you're going to have to train your VAs how to do it, and it will pay off dividends. So with cold calling and SMS text blasting, that's really where I have my VAs right now, and they do a lot of the grunt work, which absolutely sucks for me. With SMS text blasting, a lot of the hard work for it is just going through all the stupid text responses that are like, well, how much do you want to give me for the house? And no, take me off your list. It spends hours and hours. If you're doing thousands and thousands and thousands of texts per day like I am, it is a ton of work to just to shift through all of it and to sift through it. And you can have a VA do a lot of that work where your acquisitions person doesn't have to do that. It saves them so much more time to do follow-ups and really important tasks. So when you're having an SMS text blasting VA, the cool part about it is you're saving a ton of time. They're just going through the nose, and it doesn't take that much training to do, and it's really, really cost efficient. And it's one of the best hires I have in my business. And cold calling, the same thing. Most people talk about VAs when it comes to marketing and cold calling. They're trying to have these VAs close deals for them and do all this. It's, guys, all you really want to do is get the yes. That has been my preference. That is what I've been screaming to you people, is just get the yes. That is all that really matters when it comes to the marketing point. Marketing and acquisitions, you should not merge them. They are intertwined, of course, but you should not merge them into one. A lot of people have marketing and acquisitions merged into one thing. It's not. Marketing is all about getting people in front of you, motivated sellers, and getting them to make sure they're interested or not. If they're interested, put them into acquisitions. Acquisitions' job is to mold that interested into a contract. That is their job. Dispositions, their job is to get a contract into a deal, an assignment of contract. Of course, they all have to work together, but that is as simple as this business is. So marketing, they're just trying to get in front of they're just trying to present the acquisitions department people that are interested in selling the property, not people that are like, maybe, I don't know, or I'm not interested in selling. No, your job is to get in front of people who are interested in selling and put that lead into acquisitions. They're not here to close deals. So my SMS text blasters and my cold callers, who, let's say SMS text blasting, people are interested in selling, straight into acquisitions, and then they're going to deal with that. If someone is into cold calling and they're interested in selling their property, hey, that's great. Someone from our team is going to give you a call back real soon. What's your name? Boom, put it in the podio. Acquisitions person sees it. Boom, cold call. That is what you have to, guys, that's all you have to be doing. Okay, so marketing, sorry for the little rant there, but marketing, their job literally is to just get yeses for me and then make sure acquisitions does it. Now, this is where it gets a little iffy with acquisitions for me. Going to be honest with you. So when it comes to acquisitions, I'm not personally, I'm not the biggest fan of having VAs in acquisitions. I think a follow-up VA is probably the best one. I just know of too many successful wholesalers that have VAs for acquisitions where I have to talk about it. It's a small little philosophy. So it's like, hey, what way do you bake a cake? One person, they mix it this way. They add 4 cups of sugar. But this person adds 6 cups of sugar. It's all going to be a good cake. It's just the way that I do it's differently. So a lot of people have virtual assistants going out there actually closing deals. That's a ton of training. There's too much turnover for that. I'd rather just get an American that knows the culture well, because in my business, my average margin's $35,000, $40,000, where that in-person touch is really needed, versus where someone's in Ohio or something and they're making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 average spreads. You can really have a VA. It's not going to do that big of a deal. So generally, that's just how I grew up and how I've done wholesaling real estate. So that's honestly what I've seen. So take that as you will. But when it comes to acquisitions, now you can have a VA do follow-ups for you. And that's an interesting one. And with follow-ups, they could actually be pretty efficient with it if they just say, hey, is anything changing? Are you still interested in selling? And try to warm up warmish lead to hot. That's something that we've always been experimenting with. Right now, just our average deal size, we kind of have our acquisitions managers doing it, just because we're not doing like $30,000, $50,000 deals a month. Okay. So it's not that insane, where it's still, we can do the follow-ups ourselves, and we kind of have automated systems with Podio to do it. Again, dispositions, this is where VA is essential and needed. Oops. Their goal literally is to produce cash buyers. A VA is all you really need to build cash buyers. You don't need an American for it. All they're doing is SMS text blasting, email blasting, scraping emails from Facebook, and scraping people from Facebook and messaging them and making sure to add them on the cash buyers list. Literally, you can give a VA and just to make sure they get proof of funds for you, and then add that cash buyer into Podio for you. You know how to train them. It's very simple to do. So again, VAs, the most important part about them is they let you buy time. And time is the most valuable asset. Someone tells me, Zach, will you take time or will you take money? I'm taking time all day. Time is so important. I feel like an old man saying this, but throughout my whole experience in business, time is the one thing you can't replace. I would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to take back the time it took me that first 2.5-ish, 3 years to learn wholesaling really completely and really get a full grasp on everything. I would have paid $200K just to have that knowledge right now. Like I would have paid that easily, but you can't. And really, it's lessons that you learn from experience that you just can't do it. That's honestly what I do. But I'm telling you, VAs let you buy time, and that makes you so much more efficient in your business. So the real question comes back here is, when should you hire a VA? And it's honestly up to your market, the way you do the business. But I think you should hire a VA when you start making 100K and you really want to scale up. I know people that are making 100K per year in wholesaling real estate, and they're okay with that. And they don't really want to make any more money. They're okay with that. They're kind of done. So those people are like that, and they don't want to do anything else. But hey, if that's really what you want, I recommend don't hire a VA. Now, you got a lot of people that actually want to scale up their companies and get it going. I would probably start doing that too. So if you want to scale up, you start making 100K so you learn every aspect of your wholesaling business. And once you get that kind of unlock, go out there, start getting a VA and start scaling up. So watch videos like this. I do free trainings. I'll do Zooms in front of anyone that wants it. And I'll show you exactly what you got to start doing in this business. The one thing I can not stress enough is make sure you're making 100K per year first in net profits, because that needs to be your initial goal. You got to get out the trenches there, out of the 9-to-5 trenches. And the way to get out of there, just start making 100K a year. I'm not going to get in this debate with people. Also, it's like, oh, 100K is not enough for me in my luxurious lifestyle. Just make 100K, scale up from there. Guys, you can easily live way below that. So I'm not going to get that debate either, even with a family. So the cost of VAs, again, let's put the rinky-dinky calculator in here. But truthfully, the cost of VA, I'll call it $6 an hour if you give bonuses for deals. And if they're working 40 hours a week for 52 weeks, I mean, a good VA that'll work full-time for you will be 12 to 15K. And then you get multiple, maybe 20K for a couple. I mean, the cost of VAs, that's why when you make 100K, so you can start making that investment. So that's sort of where I'm at. Again, I'm not looking to take your money. I don't have this course to teach you VAs. I do have a course to teach you VAs. It's freewholesaling.com. Let me put it on the bottom here. But guys, I mean, freewholesaling.com shows you exactly how to do it. It shows you actually how to do the marketing. I know a lot of people actually use freewholesaling.com to actually teach their VAs. And I've gotten a lot of DMs and stuff from it. And it's really cool to see that people are just bringing their VAs through parts of freewholesaling.com. And it's really helping them out. And that's pretty cool. So the cost of VAs, I would say 10 to 12, but the hidden cost of VAs is going to be your time. I don't think this is talked about enough, but a bad VA and a bad process of hiring a VA, or really not knowing what to do when it comes to getting a good VA, is time. If you're bad at training your VAs, you're going to be wasting so much time. It is not worth training a bad VA. So the hidden cost of VAs is it's going to take a lot of time to initially get the process going. And when you're starting out, it's going to especially on your first 1 or 2 hires with a VA, you'll actually be spending more time doing that than if you just did it without the VA. It takes time to actually train the VA to be efficient, where you actually don't have to go out there, and you actually don't have to be in the business. And that's the best one to do. So where to find high quality VAs? My personal opinion, there's 2 websites that I definitely recommend right now. It's upwork.com and onlinejobs.ph. Upwork.com has people from Mexico, India, and the Philippines on there. And then onlinejobs.ph is the Philippines. So that's all like Filipino people. And my preference with what countries work the best, again, an amazing VA in India is going to be most of the people in the Philippines, if that person's amazing. So a good VA can be anywhere. So it's like learning about soccer players. It's like Egypt doesn't have a lot of good soccer players, but they got Mohammed Salah, I think Salah. And so like you get someone like that on your team, it's like, whoa, that can really change the game for you. And then you go to like Germany where they got a lot of good players and you just get like a person's not that good. You're like, but their country's great at this. It don't generalize. You got to find the individuals, not the country. Somebody like, I'm only hiring in this country. Blah, blah, blah. You got to find the best people in there. So that's the best way I can really describe it. So hopefully my FIFA people out there will enjoy that. But onlinejobs.ph, best for cold calling and SMS text blasting, and Upwork for like other stuff, acquisitions. On Upwork.com, I think is more professional. And then onlinejobs.ph is really for those starting out tasks. So how to train your VA. I've been told this a lot. There's some big secret on learning how to train your VAs and getting it all. It's honestly, between you and me, not a big secret. It's pretty cut and dry. How to train your VA comes down to how you want to train them. Now, there's 2 ways to train your VA. I have personally found it's either number 1, you literally will go on Zooms and you'll train your VA and just breathe down their neck for like a month straight and then just let them loose. And you just do that for every VA that comes in and out. And that's the least efficient I have found. You really want to make the process streamlined. And a lot of the time when you're training a VA, when you're training an acquisitions manager, you're kind of repeating the same thing after you've done it. So I started just training the same VAs over and over because I was having some turnaround in my cold calling business in college when I was in my dorm room. And I was like, this is annoying. I'm saying the same thing. It's like I'm doing a script and I don't like it. So what I did learn, which I was seeing from other wholesalers in the area, this was in 2018, just create some videos. So this is before I had a YouTube channel. I was not good at talking to anyone. I didn't have any cameras. I had a phone, and I was just using my Mac at the time. And what I was really doing, I was just uploading videos on YouTube, and I made it a private unlisted link. So YouTube, I'm not going to get in the thing. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you do have a YouTube account. You can post on there. Obviously, most people don't. They don't want to. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't do YouTube to make money. So it's definitely not the money option out there. I do it for social impact, for wholesaling real estate, but it's a great thing because you can literally just upload videos. It costs no money to do, and you can have private links. So I recommend you just upload the video and then put it on the privacy settings, put it on unlisted. That'll still give you a link where only the people with the link can have your videos. You don't want your competition or anyone seeing it. Obviously, you don't want it public. So I started doing that. I did unlisted. Now you can do private unlisted, which is way better. But so started posting these videos on YouTube. I didn't edit them at all. I mean, you guys see my first year on YouTube. I was not editing everything. It was all from a camera, from a phone camera. It was all fun. So I started training like that. Another one I did a lot was I did Zooms and just screen recording in the Zoom. Start learning that, and did a couple PowerPoints. I recorded those. I started doing a lot of interesting stuff, and it was blowing my mind how easy it was to train VAs doing that. They had to go through all the videos, and they learned a lot of it. And the cool part about that was I used to cold call with the VAs, training them for 5 hours. And I did a full week with the new VA just so they can shadow and see me. Guess what I did? YouTube has an 8-hour upload limit. Guess what? Did a full week of that. Closed a couple deals. Because, me in college, I was a killer. I'm still a killer now. But I was on my grind back then. And recorded a really good week I had. And I had about 40 hours worth of cold calling, just raw live. And a lot of personal info is in there. So I can't post that because a lot of just addresses and people's names. And I definitely don't want to get sued or anything. But I have that. It was unlisted video. And that's what I did to train them. And obviously they didn't get through 40 hours, but I made them watch at 2x speed, which is a lot easier for them. And that was only 20 hours. So I just saved 20 hours of training doing that. And they didn't have to go watch me live do it. It was actually pretty interesting. And I can go back and show them bad calls, good calls, watch recordings. I know exactly what are the good ones, bad ones. Pretty cool. So the videos on YouTube are really good. And that's one of the best general training. I did SMS text blasting where I just recorded myself going through texts hey, right here, it's kind of a weird one. This is one I would actually probably give to the acquisitions. This is when I wouldn't. And then, here's some curse words. These are words that if you get them, generally they're not a good deal. And I'm not going to say the curse words. I don't curse on this channel or generally in life. But but in that one, you just show all the curse words. Be okay, if someone says something like this, just be careful with it. Here's Podio. How do I bring an SMS text blasting lead into Podio with the cash buyers to dispositions people? How do you add it? What's kind of ad copy to use? It's all done for them. I use Google Drive and stuff just for sharing things. Give them all emails. It was pretty cool. So videos on YouTube unlisted, that is definitely a really good one. So this is specific training for each one. So marketing training, I did that cold calling, the SMS text blasting one. I've actually found a lot of success doing that. So that's definitely one I'd start recommending right now. Acquisitions training. The way I trained the VAs when it came to acquisitions training was with follow-ups. I just showed me doing follow-ups, did a little video on that, and did a little live training, and we're pretty much good to go on that one. Acquisitions training, if you're going to do the acquisitions manager, I have an acquisitions manager videos I've always done, recorded appointments, things like that. That's probably where I'd start doing and start creating stuff like that. And I would start doing in the style that I do my acquisitions training at freewholesaling.com. Dispo, kind of like what I said before, what I was doing was just showing me working with cash buyers, calling cash buyers, vetting them. Hey, here's what a proof of funds looks like. This is a hard money proof of funds. We do not like that. We are going to request not. This is from a bank, Chase, BB&T, Suncoast, whatever credit union. We want actual bank proof of funds. Next one here, if you're actually looking to scale, is right here. Traction. Great book. I think if you're trying to scale up a system, a lot of stuff that I talk about here, again, this is like a $3,000 probably mini course, like a weekend seminar I try to put in every video I do. And mostly what they do here is they read the book Traction. They're like, oh, okay, well, oh, well, I'm going to put that in my seminar. Like stuff like this, like page 35, talking about core values. They literally do this. Here's some 8 questions when trying to hire someone. You try to learn what their plans are, 1-year plans, what are the issues with your business. Core values, you try to get it for you and try to explain it. Vision components, really just delegating tasks with people. They break down charts of what businesses should look like. It's a great book. Now, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but there should be no excuse why you haven't read this book. Oh, Zach, I don't have the $17 to buy this book. Hey, I'm gonna give you a quote from Gary Vee, okay? This is a quote Gary Vee said. So I'm not saying this, but this is a quote from Gary Vee said. Gary Vee always said, hey, everyone needs to go watch, read, or whatever my book. And then some guy said, I don't have the money for your book. Well, go online and just search free book name PDF free and it'll pop up. I don't care if you pay for it or not. You just need to get the information. Gary Vee always said that. So there's always a free PDF of these out there. I don't think you should do that at all. That is terrible. But support the author. That's a great one. Gino's a great guy. I've never met him before, but it's a great guy. But there honestly should be no excuse. I know some real estate YouTubers like give free PDFs of like books like this. To each their own. $17 is probably the best one you can spend. But in all honesty, if you are going to spend 12, 15 grand on a VA and you want to scale up a business, just spend $15 on a book like this. Get the Kindle for 10. It's definitely worth your time. So it's definitely a great one. Let's see. Oops. Another good one here is same for the thing from Gino. He has another one called EOS. I think it's another cool book. I love it. It's a complete guide for employees with the entrepreneurship operating system, right? Yeah, I think so. It's a cool one. But the EOS model is something that I actually use a lot. I'm trying to show you. It's just where a lot of the bigger companies do it. What you kind of need to focus on when you're trying to build your company's vision, how to actually scale companies. It's a great one. Let's see how much this book is. I think this is like a $20 book. So if you want to get even more, they talk about things that we actually do. So with VAs, I do recommend like weekly pulse meetings and level 10 meetings. And I'm not going to go, gatekeep the information. Like a level 10 meeting, for example, there's a quote, we call it level 10 because when we first meet with the leadership team, we ask them to rate the quality of their meeting on a scale to 1 to 10. They normally give a score of 4. The following agenda will help you get the rating of 10. Level 10 is designed for time management tool that actually saves time by helping the right hand know what the left hand is doing, avoiding train wrecks and bottlenecks that slow things down. And it helps by ending interruptions during the week on issues that can wait to be solved in the meeting. In our experience, you will save 2 to 3 times the amount of time you spend in a level 10 meeting if you commit to the agenda. Some overviews, creating an issues list. Let's see. So Vince Lombardi did this. You have scorecards and you just go over to list, good, lose, and then scorecard stuff. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but it's definitely stuff we implement. We do weekly meetings and we kind of base it off of that. And we found a lot of good success doing that. So definitely go out there and try to check it out. But it's crazy. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So again, we do weekly meetings. We do quarterly rocks. We do weekly meetings. So quarterly rock kind of in those books. Again, I'm not like a Gino Wickman, like diehard where I do anything he says, but I do take some stuff that, hey, if like 50,000 like type of scale companies do this, I'm going to try it. And it's helped us a lot. where every quarter we have goals and we try to meet them, and we kind of do it the quarterly rock, where we try to go over a huge quarterly big vision meeting, a smaller weekly day-to-day operation type thing. If you guys are a big fan of the offices, of the show The Office, it was a terrible concept when they had Jim and Michael as co-managers, because Jim was day-to-day operations and Michael was like the big picture. It was kind of like, if you did the meeting right, you don't need two managers. So quarterly rocks and weekly meetings and just focusing on that just helps you scale up. It's like, how can Elon Musk do everything he does? I mean, I run way more businesses than wholesaling, and wholesaling is my top one. That's where I spend all my time. But my other businesses, you got to know how to do the meetings correctly and really know how to delegate your time. So the point of the weekly meetings is, it's not really for me, because I can go look. I'm a numbers guy. I go look at the numbers and see what's going on. Like, is it going well or not? That's how I've seen it. But truthfully, building having support and building connection with your VAs is probably a really important part of the weekly meeting. Another part of the weekly meeting is, like an employee, these VAs are employees for you. They need to feel like you actually care about them, and you should. They're a huge key to you actually doing well in your operations and making good money. So you should be focusing on them. And it's so important. I say this a billion times, but virtual assistants aren't robots. Huge issue most people do when hiring a virtual assistant is they treat them like robots. VAs have families, they have relationships, they have children. You have to understand this. A lot of cultures are different around the country, around the world, but some stuff never changes. So let's say we go to the Philippines and we learn about people from the Philippines. They're huge into that family. They have a great family culture. It's understand their family's everything, kind of like my family. Like, you have to understand, and you can build connections like that. I know the Philippines has a huge religious population. So if you're religious, use that as another connection. Let's say maybe you're Muslim and you hire someone from Pakistan. Maybe you guys can have some stuff like where you can intersect with some connections. There's just so many types of connections you can have everywhere around the world, that there's more alike with everyone around the world when it comes to your VAs than apart. So guys, find the ways that you can connect with your VAs and just have fun. Everyone enjoys life, and it's if you know how to build rapport correctly, you can definitely build support, connection with your VA, so they feel like they're valued. They feel like they can go to you if there are any concerns about the company. They can actually help you guys out. It's really a really best way to scale. Actually caring about your employees and actually caring about the success of them in their future and their families, because they got kids to feed too, will make you more money than if you didn't. And being Mr. Moneybags over here. I mean, this isn't the 1800s gilded age where, we got oil money and we don't care about the people. It's way different now. I mean, that's why like tech is like this too. It's insane. So like tech is like all about the employee, because it's the key to their success. You want the best talent and you want to keep them. So let's break down some tips and tricks. So track your VA's time, track how many calls they're making. If they're cold calling, you need to record them and do a weekly KPI, quarterly KPI, and yearly KPI, make goals. So here's some key performance indicators for your marketing you really want to break down. So number one here is with cold calling. You want to track how many calls they're doing, time called, how many leads they're actually getting, and how many deals they're actually getting. Pretty important to do. Leads to deals important, but I do keep that. But those are the most important ones, I would say. I have like 15 KPIs for cold calling I put in there, but those are the really important ones. For SMS text blasting, SMS text blast sent, total cost for SMS text blasting, total cost for cold calling's in there too, and then leads and deals. So really the total KPI you want to do is cost per deal. And really, if you know how much money you made in profit and how much you spent to get that, that's profitability. And that's generally what companies go down to. It's how much money you made versus how much you spent. That's the equation. So KPIs for acquisitions is a little different. Again, I'm kind of mixing in what I use for my personal American acquisitions people into this. So this comes down to leads. how many follow-ups, calls they're actually making for follow-ups and leads, how many appointments they're going on, how many deals they're getting, and how many leads it takes them to get a deal. Because the leads to deal, a cold caller can be really good at producing leads and really high quality ones, but if the acquisitions person sucks, you have to figure out which one should be punished or which is the issue or the bottleneck in your business. Is it the acquisitions person that's not doing it right, or the marketing? What's the issue? Really important you guys can figure that out. And that's why I keep leads to deals with acquisitions. Follow-up person, how many follow-ups per day, make sure they're recorded. KPIs, make sure acquisitions people are recorded too, but KPIs for dispositions, this comes back to cash buyers added and vetted, deals sold to cash buyer agents, cash buyers / agents that you added per the week or for the month, really. Emails, calls, texts sent to cash buyers for marketing, turnover time to sell a deal. How fast can you actually sell your wholesaling real estate deals? And then lastly, the average assignment fee. That's stuff you can track pretty well and do goals for. So that's really what I've seen. I can tell you it's all on freewholesaling.com, and that's what I've seen. So let's see some of the questions we got and see how I can help the people out. So Kenny says, note taking in student mode. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. All righty. We here and we ain't getting nowhere. We're wholesaling. Nah, thank you, Zach. Let's go. We're going nowhere. So what's going on? How are you, Philip? Sexy revenue all the way. No, we're going for net profit. I heard wholesaling starting to become illegal in some states without a real estate license. What are your thoughts about this? Get a license if you need to in your state. I truthfully believe I don't think it's a big deal. I think there's more issues with getting a license than not if your state doesn't require it. APM, all right. My VAs has 10 years experience and no training needed only, and $4 an hour. Awesome. Let's go. Hey, glad to be here. Love your channel, man. Appreciate that. It means a lot to me, actually. 7 is great. Okay. 8 p.m. is good for me. I mean, we went live at 7 today, so it's kind of the mix, right? Have you heard of a VA that literally do the entire process? Mine does. I think specialization's where it's at. So no, I like compartmentalizing it, putting in little cubbies, because once you start doing a lot of deals, they can't do it all. What is the top 3 list to send SMS text blasting? SMS requires high volume, so it won't be a niche list like probate. It would probably be high equity vacants. I'd probably put code violations in there, and then tax liens, tax delinquencies, and credit card debt lists, because they're really hard to cold call because they got loan sharks and people actually doing it. Let's see. What is the top 3 list to cold call? So you did SMS, Raphael. So cold calling, I would say probate / pre-probates are amazing. Driving for dollars and high volume, I would still put vacants in there. It's really well, and tired landlords. Well, I need to see if Ashley works. Progress. Sweet. Hey, Zach. What is up, Justin? Question. How are you? Life's great. Appreciate it. How do you train them? I just broke it down. Can someone help me with comping question? Great knowledge. Boom, boom, boom. Follow-up VAs. Yeah, so what a follow-up VA is going to do is they're actually just going to follow up. I mean, they just follow up on your leads on Podio. Their real job, honestly, is they're just trying to get, you have so many leads in your Podio, it's worth someone actually going there sifting through everything. Can you get asked a question to qualify? Yeah. So again, those questions are motivation, condition, time frame, and price. Jacob says my favorite wholesaler. Appreciate that, Jacob. Actually means a lot to me. You guys, your support on this channel is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's set up a Zoom call this Friday. Thanks for the gem, Zach. I appreciate it. Subbed. Thank you so much, Freddie. Appreciate that. Great information, Young King. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're awesome. See here. What do you think about getting a cold caller VA from a VA agency that trains the VA for you? I haven't seen the best results from it. And it's honestly, their business is different than the one that you run. So I can't recommend it right now. Tons of value. Thank you. I appreciate that. FTW3601 asks, what happens when an owner changes their number because it gets called? Does skip tracing find their new number? Usually it does, but it might take time to get it going or get a new one. So door knocking, probably the best one if someone changes their number and you can't get a hold of them. Or actually messaging them on Facebook works really well, or finding their email. NFCU, babe is the boss. MFCU. Okay. I don't know what that is. Alrighty. Missing this. Oh, Navy credit. Okay. Navy Federal Credit Union. Okay. Does marketing include social media marketing? No. This is for motivated sellers only, I would say. Hey, Zach, I have a VA, but I'm struggling to find out how to train them. They go over the script to the seller when they contact them, but that's about it. Any resources you can recommend how to train a VA? Your VA shouldn't be saying too many complicated things. I mean, truthfully, they're just trying to get a yes, and that's really all they're really doing. Like, they're just trying to get the yes. So, hey, are you interested in selling your property, and are you the owner? So I always break it down in the beginning. Hey, is this blah, blah, blah? Is this Mary Smith? Are you the owner of 123 Main Street? Are you looking to sell the property for cash? They say yes. Boom, we're ready to go. You know, that's as simple as we make it. Then we learn how to put in a podio and we go from there. 100% sure you've been drinking. Drinking my bubbly. Thank you, Zach, for the information. Of course, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's see here. I'm trying to train my VA to properly qualify deals before getting me involved. Any tips? Trying to train my VA to properly qualify deals before getting me involved. So the qualification always comes down to the 4 questions. Again, that is motivation, condition, time frame, price. But really, if they're interested in selling a property, it should just go to you. So my tip is, if they are interested in selling or have any inkling of motivation, that's 95% of the marketing process, is just sifting through all of that no's and ifs or what maybe into actual deals. So that would be my number one recommendation right now is I would just train the VA just to get yeses, and then you deal the rest from there. That's what I'd say. For those who haven't closed a deal but can afford to implement a VA immediately, does that make sense to hire one ASAP? I would say no. You learn how to do wholesaling first and then train the VA, because if you're trying to train a VA, you haven't done any deals, you might not have the confidence to train them correctly. So I would definitely recommend still make 100K. What subject do you teach your marketing VAs? Cold calling and SMS text blasting. That's strictly where I'm having it right now with them. Direct mail, I mean, I'll have one answer direct mail for me, but really, there's no need for it for us right now. Like, I'll have one, but really our acquisitions people are answering the direct mail and the postcards because we like that personal touch in our business. Like, but obviously, guys, our market's so much different than the average one, so we have to do it a little differently. Guys, again, this is water, but whatever. This says sparkling water on the thing. Alrighty. Hey, what is up? Oh, let's see. I outsmart smart YEW different. Says, oh, we got Kobe. Awesome. The thing that confuses me is the contracts. Or is that Kobe? Kobe. Old school Kobe. So the contracts is honestly the easiest one. So if you just go to YouTube and search contracts, it'll be in there for you. So Flip of the Rick space contracts, or Zach Ginn space contracts, probably the best one I would recommend right now. But really at freewholesaling.com, I break it all down. So find the link for you. Right here, freewholesaling.com. I show you exactly how to do it. So that's the link, show you contracts. Now, contracts can be confusing. There's a lot of lingo. There's a lot of stuff you have to understand about it. But there should be no excuse not to understand the contract when there's so many information, so much free information out there that you don't even have to deal with it. And it's my contract. So you get the free ad copy for the contract too. It'll break down everything for you. So I definitely recommend that. See, Trenton Robertson says, when having your VAs call, what are you guys' connection rate been for people answering? I'm currently sitting at 7. I'm going to get in trouble for this one again, but it depends. So a probate one, you're probably going to get a really good connection rate versus a tax lien or tax delinquency list where people are behind on payments. So you really have to understand, you got to do it by list, and skip tracing can have a big effect on using True People Search or using smszach.com. What kind of skip tracing are you using? And you'll see a big difference. So that's the one thing I can tell you right now. You have to figure out what list you're going to be using to actually give you good results. So that's definitely the one I would be saying right now. So, I mean, it will go from 5 to 10% depending on what we're doing. So a really, really niche list that no one's doing, maybe like a fire damage property list where everyone's got their cell phone, no one's really calling that list, will bump it up a lot. And if I do like a really big high equity list, it's going to be a little different. So best way to describe it is it's a little different. So when I pull a government list and there are 300 plus addresses, do you have to go through each one to find the owner and last name before you skip the list? So I don't really want to break down a list pulling VA in this one because it's a very niche one to do. It's a part of marketing technically, but that's really when you're really at a certain level where it's not even a big deal to do it anymore. So yes, you can have VAs do marketing lists. It only works for not a lot of companies, but when you pull a government list with 300 plus addresses, you do have to go through usually it and skip trace it first. So you have to sift through it. You just got to make sure the CSVs are all good and ready to go. Yeah, generally that's what you have to do. Again, government lists are harder and smaller, but it works really well. So I definitely have to recommend that. Where are the top 3 lists for direct mail and postcards? So again, I use mailzach.com. Mailzach.com is it's definitely the cheapest direct mail that I found. Offerpostcard.com's on there. I just use Mailzach. So mailzach.com, the list that I use is high equity vacants. Next one I would say is, I'm going to get in trouble for it, but it's really just a combo. It's a huge niche list. So it's the code violation list mixed in with maybe pre-foreclosures, any type of lien. I'll throw water shutoffs in there, and I'll add some drawing for dollars in there. I prefer cold calling it, but like it's a big niche list. It's all the government lists I can put into one big one, maybe 2,000-3,000 postcards in there. But high equity vacants are definitely a good one. And then I would probably top 3. So if I have to bring one more in there, that's like, and I got to leave the rest out, I would say tired landlord still. For example, every person who expresses interest in wanting to sell, he'll set immediately for a follow-up. Yes, exactly. Here, Manny says, have a lead tomorrow. I'm ready. I did my homework. She wants retail, but understands that the house would need work for that. But my first sit down with the seller. Any tips? Look the seller in the eye. Make sure you're building a really good rapport. Have a smile, and truthfully, try to help the seller out. That's the only tip I can give to you. I mean, the only tip you get better at this is having more experience. And to have more experience, you're going to have to go on more appointments. So just go out there, have a good time. I know you're nervous, breathe, and just remember what's the worst that's going to happen. So go out there, fall on your face if you have to. I don't recommend it, but that's definitely what I'd say. So Go out there with a smile, have confidence, look someone in the eye. They're not worried you have a mole on your cheek or something. Most people are like really freaked out over that. Oh, they're going to think I'm weird looking at. Nobody cares. They're there to help you out. If you have an accident, nobody cares as long as you can help the person out. You can effectively communicate what kind of problem you're solving. You'll go out there and do very well. Facebook says, Joe from Miami, I'm going on an appointment tomorrow for my lead. My V8 brought me from cold calling. Seller wants 190 for the property with a 280 ARV. And he says he's done a decent amount of work at the property. Okay. What kind of work? I need some more information here. Let's see. Any more info from this? I don't think so. Joe, give me some more info, man. Love to help you out. Zach, at what moment in your wholesaling career should you get V8, make $100,000 per year in profit? What's up? How's it going, Make Whole? When I said subject, I meant forward script. What was the question one more time? Oh, what subject do you teach your marketing VAs? Okay. So you meant forward script, so on. So marketing, they do understand forward if they're in a really bad situation. They know the 4 pillars. So they honestly just go through the 4 pillars in the script. Hey, are you the owner of 123 Main Street? Are you looking to sell the property for cash? Yes. Great. Can I get some information on the property? Hey, at the end, is this the right person to talk to? Is this the right phone number? Hey, I didn't catch your name. They're not really building too much rapport because that's the acquisitions manager's job, is to go out there and build rapport. Trent, let me know what list you got. How do I pull the probate list? So, I mean, you'll sit at 5 to 10%, roughly. I mean, this market's getting a little insane for cold calling. I used to be at 20. I mean, you can push 20 if you're doing really, really niche stuff. It depends on the dialer too. Like a single line dialer, your percentage is going to skyrocket versus a 10, 12 line dialer. So if you're using a 12 line dialer, that sounds decent. Also, if your phone number is coming up scam likely, that's probably what's going on in Trenton. How do I pull the PropStream list, the probate list? You can use listrei.com. PropStream, there's so many ways you can actually do it. So I'd recommend if you're going for probate, just go to the clerk of the court and pull it. It's a great way to do it. Thanks, Kara, for the question. Totally rock solid advice. Put me down for a like. Awesome. Every single like you guys do on this video or on the channel, another guru cries. So I really appreciate it. That's awesome. Do you have a discount for us to use batch leads? Yeah, just use Zach, Z-A-C-H, get 50% off, and appreciate it. Thank you. Or use smszach.com if you want 500 leads for $1. Those are the 2, right? Let me see. Yeah. 500 texts. But yeah, use Zach. It's a code Zach's better between you and me. It's way cheaper. So if you're actually going to do SMS text blasting, you get the first month half off. And that's way cheaper than the 500 free texts. And I think you can only do 1. So I would recommend code ZACH, but honestly, do whatever one you want. For skip tracing, that's definitely the best one, though, too. I'm pulling a list on PropStream. I usually sort through the good and bad properties, then add them to my Google Sheets. Is this what everyone else is doing? I tried Podio, but that seems for... Yes. Antonio, thank you. Podio is for real leads. Okay? You do not sift your actual marketing leads in there. Your actual qualified leads. Okay? That it's qualified leads only. You should be doing in there. Okay? So yes, you're 100% right. I use Google Sheets for all of it and Excel because I'm an Excel fiend. I use both though. I know door knocking can be dangerous, but what are the top 3 lists for door knocking? LOL. Pre-foreclosures. And it's mostly pre-foreclosures. I would go after IRS liens. And probably code violations, honestly, if someone's there. I mean, driving for dollars would be the best one, but I mean, I'd probably cold call that one instead. Thank you. I appreciate it. So do you skip trace a list without the first or last name of the owners or just the addresses? I get all of it. All of it. First, last name, and address. And mailing address too. I use Google Sheets to have all my contacts and properties sort through them. I just started using Podio. I feel like it's for hot leads. Yes, exact. Google Sheets is for all the leads. I put them in my Google Drive, and then Podio is for the hot leads, follow-up, stuff like that. In a virtual market, would you fly out for the appointment? No. You do it over the phone. Go to freewholesaling.com. It's all in there. Freewholesaling.com literally breaks it all down. He said he's a contractor and estimates it needs about 15K more work. He's done all the work himself, but he says he just doesn't have the time. Go out there and estimate it, because some contractors 15 if they do the work themselves, or it'd be like 30 if someone actually has to go out there and do it. So you have to go out there and see it. This guy's probably really savvy. So you definitely have to just go in on the discount play. Mike, keep up the great hustle, bro. Appreciate the massive value. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Mike. Is it okay to get a VA after 5 closed deals and have cash short, only getting 1? Danny, is it 100K profit or not? That's the one rule I made. What's up, Roger? How are you? And the last one is, what has been your response rate after your 3rd postcard? I leveraged your postcard and got a 1% response rate. I'm curious what response rate into the mail that lists at 5 times. We're closer to 2, but if you're using offerpostcard.com, you got to tell me what list and market you're doing. I just don't know. I really don't know. You can give me all the response rates you want. Hey, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm getting 1%. That's amazing. And then you're like, I'm in Dayton. I'm getting 1%. I'm like, oh, like, honestly, there's too many variables. You got to tell me what the variables are. It helps me out a lot. What videos do you have? Your VAs watch for training? Usually the unlisted ones I got. So that's it, guys. I appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Guys, check out freewholesaling.com. I'm always going to plug that because that is literally, I get asked so many questions on Instagram. I get so many questions on Facebook. Guys, all the 95% of the questions can be answered on freewholesaling.com. So appreciate it, guys. Keep the hustle up. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Go out there, maybe get some VAs going if you got the money for it and you actually can do it. And go out there, start scaling your business, and let's go from 100K to $1 million. You guys are awesome. Appreciate it. Stay awesome, guys. Stay blessed. And just keep it up, guys. I believe